uh, uploader. I had to deal with that for online teaching for so long this year. Finally just found a way to use
got
the
to
old one.
turn the camera.
I mean, if this looks better, this way?
No, wrong way. That way a little too much even. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, up or down?
Honestly, I think it's probably okay. You can move it down a little bit, but then you're just looking at our feet instead of the ceiling.
Oh,
I feel like we're pretty center frame.
Okay. So weird, like the white balance. Hello, everybody. People are already in here. I'm probably going to lean back a little bit so people can see Jeff. Oh, the sign is.
No. I forgot that moves. Here, I'm just gonna.
On the beer.
Yeah.
I'll next to the beer.
Cool.
There we go.
Hello, everyone. We're just getting started here. This is RCR podcast number 74.
75.
75.
Yep.
Title is Jeff Weismen because Jeff Weismen is back.
Okay.
We're going to do sound checks in a little bit.
Back and better than ever.
And now I'm going to eat on mic because that's classy.
It's what half of our meetings for school turned into. It's just people obnoxiously eating ridiculous foods at like the middle of meetings.
Looks like it's kind of crooked a little bit.
It looks fine on this.
Okay, whatever. So as the sun dips in and out of the clouds, you're going to be able to see our crazy multicolored lights changing the color of our skin. There is a red light up there. There is a yellow light up there, and there's a black light up there. So it's going to make stuff glow. I think one time, a podcast in the future, when we do it at night, I'll go back to the hardware store and get 2 more black lights, and it'll just be black light in here. And we won't even address it.
Are you going to have like mysterious stains on the back wall when that happens?
We could do that. That curtain right there doesn't cover up anything, so we could move these fake walls to the side, and every now and then you could open those things. Probably what we're going to do is we're going to put like a whiteboard behind those, and we can have different signs going on, and those fake walls will probably cover up that wall or go off to the side, whatever we can do to cut down on the echo in here.
It already sounds a lot better than it did when I was here like last month.
Oh, thanks. So I need your phone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, I can do it on my phone.
That's right. I can monitor the chat.
Yeah, I have to monitor the chat as well.
Got to close out Doug DeMuro talking about the Bronco. There we go.
Did he get his hands on one, or is he
No,
was he
it's
just talking about it?
just to talk about it.
Okay. To be that guy, I'll tell you what. Okay, testing my mic. Sounds good to me. Nick, test your mic.
My microphone is here as a microphone does. I have my hat on, so I am solid Nick rather than the liquid Nick in the beanie. So that's nice.
Okay, good. Jeff?
Penis. Is this okay?
Yeah, it all sounds good.
All right.
I think.
It's funny. It says you're live, and then it won't actually show me the video. There we go. Okay.
Okay, so now.
I wonder if a single person who's going to see this live stream saw the first one. Like, what was that, 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
When I was on it?
Yeah. You're just on the couch. You get to hear the Main Street in the background, especially when you do it in the summertime. So I need to find my bookmark, the web page where it shows all the super chats. There they are.
So if I pause the video, will it just show me the gubbins? I think it will. All right. Yeah. Cool.
So, live chat. Pop out the live chat. Okay. Are we ready to hold for sound?
Indeed, we are.
Okay, holding for sound.
Welcome, everyone, to RCR podcast number 75 with our special guest, Jeff Weismen. I am Nick.
And I'm about to stop recording because this battery on this guy is about to die. So we're going to do a take two. I'm going to put fresh batteries into it, and then we'll try this again.
Very nice.
The second I hit record, it went down to 1 bar.
Yeah, there's no such thing as technology working when I'm involved. Doug has the personality of unlined notebook paper. Chat. All right. That's right. I got to go on a Miata rant because my dad just bought one.
Did he? An ND?
Not NA. Mint one. He bought it right in like early to mid-May. And then he's just had like templates on it because he's not allowed to legally get it plated now.
Wow.
I've been out because all the DMVs are closed. You can't go.
Jersey.
Yeah. So we've been slowly but surely fixing all that out because I think it just hasn't been driven in like 15, 20 years.
Huh.
So like on the surface, it's all good. There's very little to no rust anywhere. But, interior plastics are all cracking. There's a weird gas leak somewhere from some, seal that's a little busted up.
Yeah.
It's been an experience.
Okay, we're at full bars again on this
There
guy.
you go.
We're ready to hold for sound.
All right, here we go.
Recording now.
Hello, and welcome, everyone, to RCR podcast number 75. Hope you're having a wonderful tax day. I am Nick,
I'm Brian.
and we are welcoming a special guest, Jeff Weismen.
What's up,
Yep.
guys?
Jeff, you've seen on this podcast before. He normally brings beers, and today's no exception.
Oh,
I have no idea what's in that cooler over there, but I can't wait to find out. Do you want to get right into it?
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
do it.
Force powers.
So there are some big boys, there are some little boys, and there are some in-betweeners in there. I'll let you choose the first beer.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
I think I have 2 of everything except for the Cape May one that's in there. Nothing as good as the Hill Farmstead from last time, though.
We have plenty of water. And, oh, wow.
I just threw everything in my fridge. That's the big, nice. That'll be the tastiest, but that's a big one.
That's
I
10%.
know.
That's wine.
Kind of tastes like wine too.
This is the second
I
time.
don't know. Maybe I should start with that.
Maybe.
And then just see how it
Progresses.
goes. Yeah.
All right, let's do that then.
And split this one.
All right.
There's a bottle.
I have one right here.
Oh, nice.
Prepared. You think I brought beer and not a bottle opener?
All right.
This is the second time we've been gifted beer today.
Yeah. We were filming earlier today, and our volunteer is local to the area. Oh, there it goes.
And there goes the cat.
Don't worry about it. Is local to the area, although he got a job out in LA, but moved back for the Rona. So he's been living around here, but he brought back some West Coast beer. So I put that in the fridge. That'll be for a podcast probably later on. And Greg asked me today on Facebook Messenger, am I Greg International? Because we mentioned it before. It's like, am I Greg International? And I'm like, yeah. And then I told him, look, I know a bunch of Gregs, and I had to find a way to differentiate. And we already have another pilot, Tony Airlines.
Yeah.
So Greg said, and I really want to call him Greg International because it almost sounds like a backup character in like a 007 movie.
Yeah.
So, we have our first super chat, Coyle Donnelly. I'll just answer this one quick, even though we're going to get to it. Super chats later. Thank you, Cole Donnelly. First and foremost, opinions on the Bronco reveal yesterday. Good question. You were watching Doug's video. I didn't watch it yet. So we'll get into that probably in a little bit. But I said, I think Greg International, it just has this ring to it. And he said, well, that's good. But I think because of the Rona, I'm not going to be doing international runs. I'm going to be Greg domestic, domestic Greg. But he said that before I said it. And he even said that it doesn't exactly sound the same. Domestic Greg doesn't sound the same as Greg International.
I don't know. Call him the Continental.
It's basically Greg Continental.
Yeah.
Continental Greg.
Yeah.
Greg International. Greg, if you're watching, just come on over. We'll be here.
Yeah,
if
why not?
If you're watching this live right now, Greg, you can literally just come over and knock on the door. But we have to get another microphone.
Well, I mean,
We have to get the one for upstairs or something like that. I have another microphone in my Amazon cart. So I'm going to need another one of these boom things. That one will probably move here. And then
you should just buy a ridiculous amount of boom and have like
just come down from the ceiling. Okay, so it's
like bread wine. It's ridiculous, but I like it.
Okay, so if this is 10%, but it does, I can't taste the alcohol. So this is for getting shit house.
This is Allagash. They do. I mean, this is kind of vaguely similar to Victory and the Golden Monkey, but it's just higher quality.
God, that is so good. Thank you for bringing that.
Yeah, no problem at all.
So tasty. Blizzard Docs says day drunk. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of
another Wednesday. It's just
that's the adult. That's the bonus side of adulting, of like having the freedom to get. People think as a kid that when you grow up, I'm going to have Pop-Tarts for dinner every single day, and I'm going to, have cupcakes for breakfast. It's like, get the actual adult version of that is just drinking in daytime.
Yeah,
it's much. Like when I grow up, I'll drink any time of day whenever I want.
Yeah.
I'll brown out at 4 p.m.
But I don't like drinking at night anymore because I want to have a good morning.
Yeah.
Like my favorite part of the day usually is morning because, okay, this is like dumb YouTube stuff, but I rise and I go to work and I'm having this little ritual. Now that I'm drinking espresso and no longer coffee, I got the little espresso machine. It's almost like a little ritual, grinding it, tapping it down. I'm not really hip on the whole milk frother thing because it's something else for me to watch. I found that I pretty much can get the same thing if I just take the jug of milk and hold the cap down really tight and just shake it. And that froths it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get it warm, but the coffee's already hot and that cools it off a little bit. So then I get that. I usually have a muffin, my oatmeal, and then I work for like an hour. I take a thunderous dump. I work again, and then I finish my workload, and then immediately I go into incognito mode, look at disastrous pornography, come in an old sock. I prefer Timberland brand, and then I'll then go to the gym. What's up, Jeff? Welcome back to the podcast.
It's weird now. I'm like actually an adult now, and I have a teacher. So in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk about all this stuff. But it's also like, oh, that'd be awkward if a coworker. So I don't care. That's part of the reason you were talking about like the whole day drinking thing. That's one of the reasons why I actually became a teacher is for the summer, so I can still be a shithead for 2-3 months out of the year. I can travel. Obviously, this year.
No.
None of that happened. Instead, everyone just put on 20 to 30 pounds and called it a day. At least I did. But that's like one of the reasons why I did that is so you don't have to abandon that. So you can have the Pop-Tarts for dinner. And so you can have the day drink at 11 a.m.
Well, I mean, it's like Pop-Tarts have their uses. We talked about it on the podcast before about Appalachian Trail hikers, load up on the calories, just get that energy going, fuel for the interminable journey ahead.
Yeah. The sugar it's in one place where eating sugar isn't bad for you. So when you're
related question on that. This girl I went to school with, she's like semi-popular on Instagram. She's been cooking like gourmet Pop-Tarts, trying to make like homemade and sell them in bakeries and stuff. I just think that's completely pointless. Like if you're having a Pop-Tart style thing, you've already given up on having like a high quality meal. You're just there for the sugar and to feel sick in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Well, the
Right.
idea with the baking your own is that maybe you can sort of reconfigure the recipe to make that like you use applesauce instead of like. But I forget what applesauce.
But is there any
supposed to
world in
replace.
which that's more tasty than like a cinnamon bun or French toast or pancakes?
Probably not.
No.
But
Yeah.
it depends on. Almost any bakery item will taste good if you have it fresh out of the oven.
Yeah.
That's enough. If there's just enough out of the oven crispness and warmth to it, you can almost overlook that it's a homemade Pop-Tart that's in no way like the real thing. And besides, when I was eating Pop-Tarts, I would always have them frozen anyway. It almost seemed like, yeah.
No.
If you get the ice cream flavored ones, like a hot fudge sundae or a s'mores
Okay.
Pop-Tart, then you put them in the freezer, get them nice and frozen. Then it's kind of like this, creamy, gooey, and those were the wrong adjectives. It's just, it's
My
nice.
bakery did s'mores. No, I mean, the grocery store bakery did s'mores chocolate chip cookies that they made in house. Those were pretty damn good, cold. But I guess it's because you have the emulsification or whatever of the fluff, the marshmallow. I don't know if they really used marshmallows or they just got fluff and just put it in dollops because it wasn't really uniform in these cookies.
Yeah. I had a car list, and I'm not even sure if it's the right time to get to it.
Okay.
Of just like, but I'm going to do it anyway because life. So these are cars that if they ever come up in the email, just put a star on them.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be soon. Doesn't have to be with any type of urgency. Just keep a lookout. And some of these I haven't even. I'm not entirely sure because we've done so many cars that maybe we have done some of these before. But here's my list. Okay. So Pontiac Firebird. Pontiac Sunfire.
Yeah.
L-body Dodge Charger, like the 83 to 87.
The totally malaise.
The fake one.
Yeah.
It's not really a. Oh gosh, where did I don't know if there might be one in there. I think I know what you're talking about. It's like a square body, but it has round headlights. That it has notes of a Chrysler Cordoba going on.
Yeah,
like
it's
this
super
is not
weird.
a muscle car.
Like if you gave someone a million guesses, Charger would never come across their mind. Polaris Slingshot.
That's funny because when we were filming today,
There was a Polaris Slingshot.
Slingshot just showed up. Some guy here to work out. He did that PA move where he immediately ran into his buddy. Like the buddy was like leaving in his pickup truck. And then they must have had like a 20-minute conversation. Here's a PA thing. And I don't get it. Or maybe they were social distancing. Maybe. But you have the conversation with your friend who's behind the driver's wheel, but you talk through the passenger window.
Yeah.
And you lean on the door and lean in to their car. And you have that sort of, I don't know. It's not even two cop cars talking to each other. It's something else.
No, we get that with the South Jersey people in Jersey too. I think it's just like an Eastern, like if you're in one of those states where like you're kind of living in Kentucky, but you're not in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I feel like that's part of the tradition. Just
Yeah.
have an obnoxious parking lot wide conversation.
Yeah.
Random windows of a car. We had one where I saw a 4-car conversation where there was a person looking through each different window in the car. Like, so you had one guy through his front passenger. You had one guy like leaning back through the back because he was kind of in front. It was hilarious.
Like you could all get out and sit on the bench or do something, but it's like someone in my daily upload said that's a hooker conversation. Yes.
Hooker conversation. Sorry. Okay. Geostorm.
Yeah.
Geo Metro.
Yeah.
Nissan Maxima. Did we do a Nissan Maxima?
We did a Maxima that
What generation?
was 90s and it had a stick shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I loved it.
Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra, which is a big one for me because they are absolutely ubiquitous in my childhood.
There's a guy up north of the mountain. Actually, I think he's in Northeast PA, who has an Oldsmobile Cutlass 442. But that's the one that had the weird like 3-stick transmission. Do you know what I'm talking about? In the 80s,
What,
it was
three on
like
a tree?
individual. No,
442 in the 80s? I thought that was 60s only. Didn't they stop making that?
Okay. I'm thinking of something else.
I don't know.
It's like the triple stick drag shifter that came out in its 80s style. People in the chat will yell it out, and the email the guy I've been talking to him back.
But I'm thinking,
the weird Hearst shifter,
Yeah.
Mr. Blizzard.
I'm thinking like but I'm thinking more like the weird powder blue Cutlass Sierra that is basically like in the parking lot of every retirement community.
Oh, is this a 90s car?
Late 80s, early 90s, I want to say. Although I would also take a Cutlass Supreme just for the Pete and Pete tie-in. But let's see. Ram 1500 van, Honda Cross Tour.
I think there's a Cross Tour like was one of the backup cars in Portland.
Do you remember the Acura ZDX? They made an Acura, like a luxury version of the Cross Tour for a couple of years.
No.
I did not know that.
It was the single worst test drive I've ever been on in my life.
Yeah.
Were you like actually
No, so my
considering?
dad wanted to test drive an RDX, but they didn't have like a reliable engine in it at the time. And the guy's like, they're going to come out with this with a different engine next year. They're going to update it. The RDX or the ZDX or ZLX, whatever the heck it was called, has that engine already. Just drive that. It'll drive basically the same. And we got in it. It's supposed to be one of those coupe SUVs that's super practical. I was maybe 12 and I didn't fit in the back seat. I was not tall at the time. This was pre-growth spurt. And the trunk was tiny. And my dad said it drove like my mom's Odyssey.
Oh.
And it was just one of those vehicles where you're just like, all right, it's ugly, it's impractical, it's slow, it gets bad fuel mileage. Like, why? And it failed. They didn't really sell any of them. But who in their right mind thought to even make that car? At least the Accord was cheap, the Cross Tour.
I think I remember there's a name drop. When we went to LA for the first time, Freddie Wong from Rocket Jump.
Yeah.
Like, I think he said his mom bought one of those things, the Cross Tour.
I mean, it is a mom type. At least, at the very least, it's mom adjacent.
Yeah.
And then the last ones are Mercury Milan, one of those GM conversion vans, like a Mark III type thing, just for the feels. A Saab Sonnet, or more Saabs in general. Mercury Tracer, which is kind of like this weird.
Mercury Tracer, is that the sister to the? No, I'm thinking of the Topaz.
It's
the heck was the Tracer? Mercury Tracer.
I have no idea.
I think, or maybe I'm getting the name wrong. Let's see. No, it's Mercury Tracer from 88 to 99. It's like literally
spin your.
Super Escort is what they're saying.
Basically, it's like it's that.
Oh, with the up. Okay, so that was probably the Topaz ended. And the Tracer took its place. Okay.
And then last but not least, a Honda Passport.
Oh, the old one you're talking about? Or the new one?
Yeah, the older.
The new one's fantastic, but Honda hasn't figured out their whole transmission situation still. So we were close. My mom was in the market for her last big car before, they downsize and, give up on the whole family wagon thing.
Yeah.
The theory is my brother's got to move in and out of college. Me and my sister are going to be moving around apartments for the next couple of years until we settle down. So they were looking at the Passport hard, and it's just, they even felt it being, those Honda automatic transmissions where you can kind of feel it doing things. It doesn't feel sustainable. Like it's not slipping, but like it'll downshift in like a way where the engine will spike and you're like, that can't be good on the transmission.
Yeah.
And even in their test drive for a brand new one, they felt it. And they're like, they watched my Civic with a third of the horsepower rip its transmission to shreds doing similar things. So they ended up avoiding that.
So with Hondas, it's like just go manual or go a different brand.
Yeah. Or I think their CVT isn't necessarily bad. My sister has one of those in an Accord. I think their automatics, there's some patent situation where they don't want to pay to license a certain system that most automatics use. I don't know the technical details, and they try to work around it, and it doesn't work, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So we have to go to the Ford Bronco because people were talking about the Ford Bronco.
Yeah.
Oh.
So my initial thoughts just on the buzz surrounding it is that Ford is going for a lifestyle brand with the Bronco, that it's supposed to be, there's supposed to be 3 different versions of it, or there's supposed to be this continuity between body styles with that and the F-150. I don't know.
I want to move my chair, but I don't want to break the cables.
I mean, I think the Bronco is sort of a weird. I don't know. I just got Jeep Renegade vibes off of it.
Do you now?
Yeah, it just seemed kind of weirdly. I don't know, but I see what you mean by the lifestyle brand thing, though.
Uh-huh.
In that they're trying to market this isn't your grandfather, this isn't OJ's Bronco.
Yeah,
this is like it's something new entirely. And I get it, but it's just, I don't know. Are people gonna buy it?
Yes. Easily, yes. As part of that wave, you know, I'm 25. All of my friends are all looking to buy their first new car, you know, in the next couple of years. And I'm like the car guy in the group, and I got literally 5 or 6 messages during the live stream. These are not car people. 5 or 6 messages asking me, when is this Bronco going to be available? This thing looks sick. I need this. So whatever they're doing, it seems like it's working. And I honestly, I have this plan in my head. My plan all along has been to buy the Toyota GR Corolla when it comes out, as long as it's decent, and then buy like a cheapo old SUV practicality, maybe an old Lexus wagon, something like that. And that was going to be my car setup. This Bronco has me rethinking that. It really does look that nice to me.
Yeah, they're going to be charging big.
I'm looking at it. It says Ford is pricing the new. Yeah, it's $29,995. Including destination charges, just $205 above a base Jeep Wrangler. Top end models with additional features and equipment can cost more than $60 large.
What?
A limited first edition Bronco model starts at $60,800 according to Ford's website.
And they have a Sasquatch package.
Here's what I think is going to happen, and this is half of like Rabbit from VinWiki talking. That their dealers are going to pretend that these are going to be rare cars. They may do the same move where they have a bunch of them in an unmarked warehouse, like a block away from the dealership, and they'll only have maybe one in the showroom and one on a side lot. That's it. And they're going to pretend that that's all they have. And then they're going to go find one for you. And then there'll be like a transportation charge. Yeah, transportation for a block away.
Yeah.
So they'll do the whole De Beers thing, make them think that it's really hard to get these things, so people are willing to fork over another G for these things.
Well, Ford is apparently already taking something in like $100 like refundable pre-orders. So, I mean, it's kind of like, okay, you're at least you're putting something down on this, but ultimately, I think the people who are going to buy this car, I think. I think Ford wants people to be able to just buy it outright rather than lease. Like if they're going for like a lifestyle brand type thing.
I disagree. I think these are all going to be leases.
I don't know. I mean, every house in South Jersey and in Southern PA that I go by, you know, all those houses that have 2 or 3 Wranglers and like 14 Korean cars on their driveways, you know, the sprawl places.
Yeah.
They're going to be all over this Bronco. Those households are all going to buy them. And I think, you know, they're all 4x4. They'll get the 2.3 liter. It's the engine out of the ST.
Really?
The Focus ST, slightly tuned.
Huh.
Oh, no. Wait, the 2.3 is not. That's the RS engine. And the EcoBoost Mustang engine.
Okay.
So it's a little different. That they'll be bought straight up. Now the $60,000-$70,000 ones absolutely are going to be, you know, lease vehicles. They're going to be exchange every 3-year vehicles. But I think that they're going to sell a lot of these things. I really do.
I kind of, I don't know. I guess I'm slowly coming around to the idea that they're going to sell a lot of them. My initial reaction was that it was going to be a lot. I looked at the reveal the way that a lot of people looked at the Cybertruck reveal, which is to say that, like, although I took this one a little more seriously in the sense that, okay, it seems almost like, I don't want to say a novelty, but it almost looked like something that they're putting out there that, you know, we may or we don't know if we're going to sell a lot of these. Like,
Hmm.
The goal is 125,000 units in year one. I don't know that that's the number. I'm just spitballing, but or 130. I think I heard like 120-ish around there to kind of make it work. But it's something where I don't know that it's necessarily the type of car that people are looking for right now. Although it almost feels like a reaction to people who didn't like that Ford was downsizing in a weird way.
Yeah. Is it based on anything? That's another thing.
It's built off the Ranger platform, but very loosely. It'll be under the
Interesting.
next Ranger, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good, I guess.
The Bronco Sport, which is they make two of them. One is unibody. The Bronco Sport's it's basically, they turned the Escape into a girl's car. Basically, Ford announced that they turned the Escape into something that is purely designated for, not just girls, but that whole crossover side of that half. And then the Bronco Sport is going to be their early to mid 2000s Ford Escape now, where it's a little more tough and rugged and it has a real 4-wheel drive system.
God, I hate the Escape.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan either.
So what?
But that's their
the small Bronco is going to be an Escape underneath?
The Bronco Sport, not the 2-door. So there's a Bronco. They make that in 2 and 4-door. That's basically a Jeep Wrangler.
Okay.
The Bronco Sport is like a Jeep Cherokee.
Okay.
But it's tougher looking. It's more because they don't have to split the difference like Jeep does. They're going for the wife with the Escape, and they're going for the husband with the Bronco Sport.
Oh, okay. So the Escape platform has nothing to do with any of the Broncos.
We don't know. If there's some unibody platform under the Bronco Sport. Maybe it's announced, maybe it's not. I don't know what it is.
I was looking for specifications. I'm like, gee, Nick, why don't you just type in Ford Bronco specifications 2021? And, they do repeat the whole between like 30, sub 30 and, above 60 price tag, depending on your trim level. And they do mention, the 2.3 liter, 2.7 liter, the engine. But what kind of gets me is sort of like the randomness of sort of, you get a 7-speed manual transmission or a 10-speed auto, which seems like almost as though they're kind of overcooking things.
Well, it's a 6-speed manual, just has a granny gear for off-road.
Ah, right.
Sweet. Okay, I like that.
Yeah. That's the one I would get the 2-door with the stick shift if I was going to get one. With the fancy doors. I would buy the stupid show off the kneecap doors. Did you see those in the release?
No.
They have a bunch of different styles of doors, and one of the doors it's like normal sheet metal, but then there's like a triangle cut out of the middle of it.
Huh.
It's weird as hell, but when you see it on the Bronco, it looks really cool.
So you have a door in a door.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, but it looks cool.
It sounds like some Narnia shit.
It
Like
is.
you're crawling, you open a door, you go back to the end of the closet, there's another door.
Look, I can't explain why that appeals to me, but it appeals to me in some like inane sense.
I guess. I think there's an Adam Carolla line that says, "How much ventilation do your balls need for your
Lots.
cargo shorts?"
I mean,
well, that sufficiently answered Cole Donnelly's question. Our opinions on the Bronco reveal. Me was a lot of I don't know, and thankfully Jeff is here and he knows the answer to that.
yeah, thank goodness.
Xenomorph 426 asks, and thank you for your donation, can you review a Sentra SER Spec V? Thoughts? We did some Sentra on track. I forget what. Maybe it was SEIR or something like that. And that thing was killer. I know there's a Spec B, something from the 2000s. And
Yeah, they did the melty looking one, and they did a boxy one.
Okay.
I don't know which one's which.
I don't see a Sentra for us. I see the Altima
okay, it must have been an Altima then.
and a Maxima from 99.
Was
So
the
that
Altima the
answers
one
that
at Harris Hill?
Yes,
Yeah.
from the looks of it.
Yeah. All right. So no, we didn't do a Sentra SER Spec View. My thoughts are, remember when Nissan was good? That was my thoughts. Like, yeah. It's like the last great engine is either going to be the Skyline engine, or rather the GTR engine and that we got, or it's going to be the RBs. It's the last thing. That
Yeah, the
people
VQ V6 is a killer engine. I'm sure it has reliability problems because it's Nissan,
Mhm.
but that I've driven a couple cars that have that thing, and that is a special engine.
Mhm.
I don't think it's going away quite yet.
They got nothing else.
Yeah, I think they're going to stick probably a turbocharged one, but that 400Z that they announced is most likely going to have a VQ of some kind in it. Did you see that teaser that they had like a month or so ago?
No.
They put out a Nissan A to Z commercial, right? Where they were just going through their brand of all the different models that they have. And when they got to Z, they showed like a silhouette that you can like up the brightness on, and it shows their 400Z concept that they didn't get to show off, that they were going to put at, I don't know, Geneva or somewhere this summer. And it was, looks pretty good. I mean, it's one of those cars that's like too short to be like beautiful looking now because it's got to be stubby because of all the safety standards. It's a little two-seater. It's not a convertible, but I could see that being a good car.
So this is an easy one after that big one.
Yeah.
The Wit Whale. Have you had this one already?
I have not. Carton makes good stuff. It probably is very similar to their other stuff, but I've not had one of these yet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, Carton does here.
Oh, yeah.
Carton
Thank
does
you.
good stuff.
So
I don't want to drink any, but may I whiff the can?
Yeah.
Blizzard
That's crisp.
Blizzard Docks.
This is a hot weather
says,
beer.
no question, but day drunk. Yep, that's the plan here.
That's
Chris Stockslager, familiar face. Thank you for your donation. Have you guys ever noticed the ratio of non-straight, non-male car lovers versus the usual? I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know how many language, son, like myself that are car nuts and find it interesting. Well, you're talking to another one, so what do you want? I mean, I think the car lifestyle. I mean, I pass for straight, so that's my thing. So it's a question that I don't really notice because no one really seems to care, Chris, because all these cars are going to break down. And you're going to, like, if you're into cars, you're going to be driving something stupid and it's going to break down on the side of the road and you're going to need help and you don't care where that help's coming from. Like I remember back in the 2016 election when everybody's getting bent out of shape about which side you're on. And I pulled over and there was a guy with a C3 and he had his Trump stickers on. I don't give a shit. You have a classic car and you're broken down on the side of the road. I'm in my Falcon. There's a Chevy, Ford, something like, is there any way I can help you? And he's like, you know what? I appreciate you pulling over. Thanks. A buddy of mine just showed up. He just ran out of gas because his gas gauge wasn't working. Yeah. And the guy was running to the Wawa there at Hamburg. The guy's coming back with a gas can. It was by the Lenhartsville exit. So like, yeah. So that whole thing, no, I haven't noticed sexual preference in the car community because honestly, dude, no one asks.
Yeah.
This is the first question I've never got this question before.
It's all about the cars. It's not really about the people.
I mean, that's the weird thing about it is that the only time it's ever about the people is when the people make it about themselves.
Yeah.
It's like going to a gym.
Like that in the video, that bit you wrote about the guy who hovers at the car show around his car, sort of pretending that the car isn't his.
And hyping it up.
Yeah. That's just hilarious to me. But otherwise, it doesn't really come up. So,
Yeah. Well, thank you for your donation. That was a good question, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's something I haven't thought about. Rec says, familiar face, heyo, Berkeley, California proposed no more traffic stops. I like the idea, but I'm kind of a speedster behind my handlebars. Who isn't? Yeah, bad guy. I don't care. But I figured I would ask your take on the matter of Berkeley, California, no more traffic stops. Okay. Berkeley is like this grand experiment in idealism. I predict that they may cut down on traffic stops, but they're still going to pull people over if something looks wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got the out-of-state plate or a car that looks unsafe or there's someone weaving around. And of course, there's going to be tons of people who are frequent 911 customers who call 911 all the time on every little thing that's amiss in their neighborhood. So people will still be coming out that way. But But the answer is in the language. They're proposing they do this. Doesn't mean they're gonna.
Yeah, it'll be a
Someone
compromise.
is calling for the blah, 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 which means some guy in his front yard is yelling. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Or a proposal is a stern conversation at a bus stop. Okay.
I mean, isn't this kind of what that Karen Act they're introducing is for? Like that bill to cut down on people weaponizing 911.
I'm for that.
Yeah, me too. That seems, I mean,
Frickin'
as someone who's,
busybodies.
They should have done that since people started swatting like gaming live streamers like
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
The fact that that's not like cut down on is ridiculous.
Yeah.
People have died from getting like swatted.
yeah,
Like, it's
no.
ridiculous.
it's weird because, I mean, I've been the subject of kind of that, Karen business because, Latino guy out at night, which is funny because I never thought I looked like Puerto Rican, but I mean, I guess to some people it is, or I do. And it's just, you can't have people. I mean, my brother too, it's something that just sort of happens and, racism isn't fun, but I think people, it's not just a race thing. Like people will literally use, law enforcement to sort of harass people for every little possible thing. And it's something where, I mean, maybe it's just that the media reports on or over reports on certain cases and it doesn't happen as often as we think, but if it happens at all, like the acceptable number of times this happens is 0.
Yeah.
Like that is the ideal. But yeah, I kind of understand what it's like.
Yeah. I only had that happen to me twice where I got pulled over for walking. But looking back, I can kind of see that, well, like I walk around and I listen to podcasts and when I'm listening to podcasts, I kind of forget where my eyes are going. So I'm like staring. I'm walking and staring at houses. This is before I moved here. So I was looking at houses. Like, I wonder what this neighborhood is like. I'll walk through it. I'm going to look at all these houses and I like imagine myself living here.
Yeah.
And I'm looking in. It's not like I'm up. It's not like I came up the front lawn, up the front lawn and looked in windows.
But still,
It's like I'm walking by the house and my head is just tracking the house. But I'm just checking the house out. Like, oh, it's got this bathroom, 2-car garage. Something I could put this here. Moving on to the next house. Oh, I'm having a gander.
yeah. They think it's like Home Alone and you're just Marvin Harry case in the joint.
Yeah.
It's, I mean,
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Iced Ink. Familiar face. Thank you for your donation. Should I resend my email reviews for the state if the state hasn't been properly formatted? Yeah, it couldn't hurt. You got to write the whole state out. So, because, if you just do abbreviations, it gets lost in the shuffle because say we're going to a state, but we don't know where we're going to go in that state. I don't know half the state's abbreviations.
Yeah.
Plus, you said we can't actually search for that because then you get every word with MI in it.
Or like if Missouri like MO, because then you're just done. It's motor this, motor that. I almost feel like the next sign we make should just be a year, model, city, state. Full out that you just
that could be
point
back
to
there,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Year,
Regular
make,
cars.
model, city, state. Isn't it great that you know this now?
It should just look like the Wheel of Fortune set behind us with,
Oh, shit.
It's just like if we just had a Vanna White who only came out for that, of like, well, regular
Up through those doors over there. Like,
Yeah.
you'd have to have someone back here just to pivot the camera, and those doors would freaking fly open. We could have those little champagne poppers. Of course, then people would just say that to make us
Get
do
one of
that.
those
Yeah.
creepy Halloween skeletons that pops up behind the rock and just hang it from
Yeah.
the top there. And every so often they'll just have like a sign on his forehead that says what you needed. He goes back down. Get like Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah.
Right? That's him from Sesame Street. Get him set up there.
So yeah, I think good question. Because Race Car says, did you ever do the Tail of the Dragon? No. On your trip to the South a few years back, no, I didn't do it. If not, you should absolutely take the Falcon. Also review my Mark V GTI.
Falcon would be scary on the Dragon.
I'll bet it would.
Wasn't that
wouldn't
kind
do
of
that.
like part of the plan for PCH too? Like, if we did a second Pacific Coast Highway trip and we were on the West Coast, that we would find an excuse to kind of like do these like certain.
Yeah. Think about the Tail of Dragon. What is that? Kentucky?
That's North Carolina, and I think it goes through a couple of Virginia, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not actually 100% sure.
Yeah,
I want to do.
it's-
Tail
Oh,
of
I'm
Dragon
thinking of
at
the
some
friggin'
point.
snake. You know.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
all right. Yeah. Okay. Now it makes sense. Yeah. Ugh.
I do want to do Tail of the Dragon someday. Falcon would be sketchy.
I wouldn't take the Falcon. That'd be terrifying.
Yeah, it's fun to cruise around here, but
Yeah, that's like you were saying, the PCH. Like that's the perfect car for that because you don't have like super tight twisties in most spots. But
yeah, it's just
there you have the wind blowing on the side of a mountain, and you got motorcycles flying by you because everyone has to do the Tail of the Dragon at some point. So
Yeah.
I feel like you need either a motorcycle or not necessarily a sports car, but something that's like dedicated to taking roads like that. I don't know.
Honda CRX.
That'd be a
Nice.
good one. Yeah.
yeah, that would be nice.
Honda S2000.
Yes, that would work.
We already did like 2 of them.
Maybe like a '97 Porsche Boxster.
Yeah, we didn't do a Boxer.
I was very close. Last year, I saw on Turo, there was a Porsche Boxster that you could get for $40 a day at the start of the Tail of the Dragon. And it
Damn.
had 250 miles a day you could put on it. But unfortunately, because I was 24, not 25 yet, it would have cost like triple for me to rent it. I was gonna leave like the next day and just go be an idiot on the Tail of the Dragon for a weekend. But I always wanted to drive a Porsche over there.
Tony Airlines Honda Beat. Maybe.
Dude, there's a Honda Beat for sale in Lebanon right now, $8,000.
Damn.
You could do a Miata on Tail of the Dragon. I think you'd be fine.
You'd be fine. Yeah. I thought about getting that Honda Beat, $8,000 in Lebanon, but again, I don't need another project. I got this house now.
Yeah.
And also the garage is full. And also I don't know, again, because Pennsylvania, I don't have a flat entrance to my garage. So whatever I have to get has to go a bump over like this, up a small rise and then up the concrete lip of the garage slab into the garage. So
Yeah. I mean, I was looking on Craigslist because now I'm kind of like really interested in Corvettes and possibly, but like I could not put in the work necessary to be like, okay, a 1979 barn find C3 going for $4,000. And I'm like, I could kind of swing that, but like also, I mean, I would have to pay every mechanic friend I know in beer and friendship, and that would be it. Or like a 1985 C4 for $5,000. Like, but those have a lot of problems because it's like they're trying to. That was GM Chevy trying to be like, hey, technology, we can do technology.
would you rent a garage for these?
Yeah, well, I mean, in theory, I would, but also like that's the hypothetical Nick who has time for all of these things. Like a 91 C4 for $3,000, 165,000 miles. Yeah, and it's like, I just these are all things that like I'm fascinated by them now, and I'm wondering if it's just sort of like a car crush, where it's like you're waiting for the feeling and the moment to pass, but I don't even necessarily know because, I mean, the amount of work that some of these would need just on like paint alone, and I like my.
No, they're not. The body's not going to rust. It's all fiberglass.
That's true.
Yeah. And it owning a car like that. Let me put it this. So my dad bought a original Miata, so 1990, a few months ago, and I helped him with it, and I help him with repairs and stuff, but it's his car. And when he drives it, all he notices are the little things wrong with it that make him scared of like actually going all out and taking it through a turn. When I drive it, it's just like, hey, it's a Miata. But when you own a car like that, I mean, I guess it's probably different with the Falcon because the Falcon's modified. It's not in its original state because you have,
Like sometimes, it made a new noise.
Yeah, it's like whatever. But when you
not...
own it and when it's a project, I feel like you never get the full enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
Because you're always panicking. You hear, oh, that brake's a little squeaky. Oh, that's a weird wind sound coming from the back of the car. But if you're just driving the car, if you're only going to own it for like 6 months, then it's like, this is dope. This is awesome.
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, it's almost like having a dog or any kind of pet that's up there in years, and every little thing is a new concern. And I just don't want to become that guy who's like obsessing about the health and wellness of his like second car, which is like, okay, there's nothing wrong with being that guy. I'm just saying that for me personally, as someone who overthinks everything, has a lot of anxiety, I don't know that that's healthy for me. But also, it's like there are other little considerations, like the generations I want. It would be kind of a hassle to find it in a manual transmission, because like I already have an automatic. I would want a manual if I had a second one. It's like, it's just something. I don't know. Everyone says like C5 because they're like plentiful.
Yeah, I'd say C5 too. You get the LS.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
I'd be too
super
much of
nice.
an idiot in a car like that. I'm even scared. Like I was looking at the Hyundai Genesis Coupe, and the fuel mileage I don't think I'd want to deal with. But it was also like, what am I honestly going to do with that much power? I'm just going to get arrested on the highway. Like my car is a little too slow to get max enjoyment. I have a 160 horsepower Focus with like an intake and better tires on it. And like, I have 90% of the fun I'd have in a sports car weaving through mountain roads on that.
Oh, hey, they get rid of traffic stops now.
Exactly. But like, I don't need more than double the power, I think, in a car, at least. Probably ever. Like, I just don't think that that's necessary for me. So when I'm looking at, that Toyota 86 Kona edition looks awesome.
What did they offer with that?
What do you mean?
Is there forced induction on it?
No. No, it's just British green, British racing green, and it's got the brown interior.
Ooh.
I can say this because I am, but gay.
No, I get that.
They painted it, and what's
it doesn't cost
market?
anymore. It costs like $1,000 extra. Yeah, it's nothing.
It doesn't cost anymore. It costs $1,000 extra.
On a $30,000 car, $1,000 is nothing. It's just like a more expensive paint job,
Yeah.
And I like it because I own a black on black car. I would not want to own another black interior. It's just 2,000 degrees every summer.
Yeah.
So I would pay that $1,000 even if it wasn't
painted
painted
on
on
the car
the
right
outside.
now. I remember driving a black car.
Yeah.
I mean,
Getting into that Honda Fit during the Southern Stat. Oh, black exterior, black interior, black dash. Thank goodness I sprung for, because the previous owner put a stupid metal gear shift knob on it, and that got high. It got terrifyingly hot and terrifyingly cold. And I just went on eBay and paid. It was the most expensive thing I put on that car, a $45 OEM JDM jazz knob on it. So
That's the most I've ever heard of anyone paying for a shift knob.
paid $45 because I liked it because its stitching matched the stitching of the rest of the car. I'm like, it was a stupid thing, but whatever. I hope whoever, that one guy who went up to Pentec, that must have been 3 years ago. He's probably graduated now.
Probably.
Who's driving Silicon Sally.
Yeah. What was that, like 2 years ago?
I don't know. You'd have to check the video where I gave Sally away.
It wasn't that long ago, I don't think.
While you're looking that up, we have a question from a college student. I already know my answer to this, but I want to hear Jeff's and Nick's suggestion. Mark Walters. Thank you for your donation, Mark.
It was 3 years ago.
I am a college student, soon to graduate. I currently have a 2012 Volkswagen GTI. I need something that's cheaper to maintain and practical, but still fun.
And is he looking for like what? I guess we don't know the price range or anything.
We
like
don't.
that.
I'm guessing he's going to trade this in or sell it.
Yeah.
So that's good. He's got a GTI. Those are easy to sell.
Mm-hmm.
More, of course, on a private sale than bringing it to a dealership who's going to go, well. Everybody wants it. Like, if you're in Pennsylvania, you'll have no problem. I got PA dubbers out the ass. Who'd want a 2012 GTI?
It's absurd how cheap the dealer. Like, I don't get it. They are so cheap at a dealership. You can buy a used GTI for nothing.
Are they now?
At least
Really?
when I was looking at my car, I guess it was 3-4 years ago now. But I went to a Volkswagen dealership, and I was looking at the Golf, not the non-GTI, like True Car was saying I could get a new one for like 14,000. Like, there's no way this is true, but it's worth going here and like checking in. And they're like, no, I can never get you in there, but we have 6 GTIs on our lot. I can get you in for that price. And I was like, what are you talking, like 2004 GTI? He's like, no, here's a 2012, 2013, 2014, and I have another 2014, but it's got 80,000 miles, so I wouldn't put you in that. I'm like, whoa, hold on.
No. I'd fuck with 80,000 miles.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, it's really not bad.
And I was just amazed at how cheap. Maybe that's changed since then, but I think since they moved production to Mexico, I think they've been having issues selling a lot of the used ones, unless they're like well cared for.
I mean, I wonder what like a Focus ST, but like more old.
For this guy, for the GTI?
Yeah.
It's coming off of something with a turbocharger on it.
No.
Yeah, that's not great.
I mean, depends on if he wants to go slower but still fun. Honestly, you can get one of my cars for dirt cheap. You can get pretty much anything in that vein. You can get like a Mazda 3.
That's a good answer. Mazda 3. Mazda 3 with a stick shift.
Yeah.
Grab the nuts off of it and have fun. That's a good answer.
You could get even like the Civic SIs, like everyone hates on the 2012 to 2015, 2014 like generation, and rightfully so. It's garbage relative to the other Civics that
once the Type R came out.
That's the new one. Yeah, they didn't have a Type R in America for the 2012 to 2015, the 2016 onward. But you can get an SI in that range sedan for very cheap. And I think you guys drove one.
In a POV, or like a million years ago, I think we did at Long's Park. There was an SI.
It's not.
I remember they had,
but it's enjoyable.
They had that stupid info on the multifunction display. Like there was the VTEC screen, where it literally was an animation of fucking overhead cams spinning.
Was that the one with Corey Deist? Or was that a different time?
It was a different time.
Yeah.
It was a different time of the year. I remember I wasn't wearing a winter coat when I did Corey Dice's one.
Yeah, that's true.
The SI, like an early version. Well, gosh, it must have been 2013 we did that. 2013, 2014. And I remember I was wearing a winter coat.
It's just so strange of like the things they decide to animate for whatever reason. It's because they want to give you the idea of, I think certain auto manufacturers have it in their mind that technology equals comfort. And so that, nothing like a screen with animations is like a big bowl of mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
That's just like, comfort on your plate.
We're going to have different modes.
Yeah.
You're going to look at all of them. But now all we want from a multifunction display screen is maps and then whatever music we're listening to.
Yeah.
It's not even exclusive to technology. Remember Buick tried to turn the LaCrosse into a sports sedan by adding fake vents onto the side?
Was that the one that
it's stickers?
Tiger Woods?
I have no idea.
Hawked?
Huh.
But the car, the Buick LaCrosse with the stupid Quattroporte style vents like on the side of the hood.
I don't
they
remember
literally
offhand.
Yeah, they're fake.
My goodness.
And it's not even exclusive to having like tech features. Like car companies do that crap. My sister's Prius had a S mode.
Sport mode.
It's just like, all right.
All right.
Tiger Woods was used to advertise a Buick LaCrosse, as evidenced by this brochure from eBay. But why Tiger? Well,
probably whoever marketing, they just probably hit up a bunch of people, and Tiger said, "I'll take that check."
And Shaq pushed Buicks for a while.
Did he?
And he got a bunch of crap from all of his friends. He said, "Shaq, you don't fit in that Buick." If you would like basketball, inside the NBA is hilarious. They just rip one another.
Is inside NBA, is that kind of just like a podcast, or
no? It's a show. The best way I could put it is it's like Top Gear for sports. Obviously, there are big differences, but like they do an hour show at the end of every like big basketball night, and it's just 3 former players and like the coolest, chillest, like probably best all around TV host that they can find.
Okay,
Ernie. And they just shoot the shit about basketball and about random things, and they eat spicy potato chips and cry and make fun of Charles Barkley for being fat and eating donuts. It's hilarious. It's great.
I have a question, and I don't know. Nah, I'm not going to go there. I remember one time I got made fun of at the bus stop for wearing a Phoenix Sun shirt because that's when Charles Barkley spit on that girl.
Huh.
This is in the 90s.
Yeah, I was too young for that.
Okay.
I mean, Barkley repeatedly always used everyone because everyone looks up to athletes.
Like he was like someone was heckling him when he was playing for the Phoenix Suns, and like he'd heckle him, and Barkley would just like heckle back, and then something happened, like they threw something at Barkley or like ice out of a glass or something like that. So Barkley just boom, but he missed and hit a little girl.
That's hilarious. I mean, it's awful, but it's hilarious.
I mean, it's like a sign.
But wore so much. I mean, you guys ever hear about the Malice in the Palace?
No.
So in 2005, I want to say 2004, 2005.
Mark, we haven't forgotten about you. We're just talking about basketball.
This it doesn't even have anything to do with basketball. A fan, there was like a kind of like push shove fight on the court between players. Happens hundreds of times a season. It's nothing. And then a fan just was really drunk and threw a bottle of beer at one of the players. And this player happened to be Ron Artest.
This situation. Yeah.
He went into the bleachers, found the wrong fan,
and
beat the ever-living crap out of him. And Steven Jackson, who just was tweeting a bunch of anti-Semitic stuff last week, so he's fresh in the news, also went up for no good reason and started beating up a different fan.
Oh, great.
And then so that kind of put a new standard to like what's a big deal in terms of fights.
Everybody's catching hands.
But the Suns, it's funny, they were for a decade there were the most like consistently successful, but not like you wouldn't be a bandwagon fan for liking the Suns. That was like the perfect basketball shirt that you could have worn for most of the 2000s into like 2010, 2011. But since then they've been pathetic.
I mean, my nephew loves the Suns because of Devin Booker, who like I don't even.
He's fake good. He's fake good. Yeah.
I don't.
What's fake good?
He puts up really flashy stats on a team that sucks.
Oh.
And it's either on a good team, he'd either put up fewer numbers or he'd make the team worse.
Yeah, I should kind of qualify the statement that he likes Devin Booker, but he thinks the Suns are trash.
Yeah.
So it's like.
That's kind of it.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So Mark Walters, my suggestion, Jeff's suggestion was a base model Ford Fiesta, the stick shift. My suggestion is also a stick shift, but it's a car that I didn't know until recently was available in stick shift. And that is a 2008 Toyota Camry. The family car, the big loafy family car, the Toyota Camry. Hey son, we're going to t-ball practice. We gotta go. You got to man and count the quarters at the church bake sale. We're gonna get in our Toyota Camry. You can have that with a manual. Imagine a big boat. Well, it's not a big boat by modern standards, but this big loafy car that just blends into the scenery. I mean, it's beige, and you can park it in a green forest, and it'd still be camouflaged. But you could have it in a stick shift and just beat the living heck out of it, rev it, bounce it off the red line. It's like, hey, this is an old car, and you could probably one-wheel peel yourself to a very fiscally responsible bliss. There's one was for sale up in Lehighton and had 260,000 miles on it. And this, guy dude bro dealership still wanted $4,000 for this. I'm like, this is an $800 car. And I kind of wanted to, because I've been talking about doing an RCR flip, and it would either be a Corolla or a Camry. Yeah. It's like, could I actually do this? But the prices are already pretty darn reasonable of getting into a $2,000 Toyota. Of course, the thing that I want to find a way how to fix is the peeling steering wheel fabric of that. It's like vinyl. I don't know what it is. It just turns into goo.
You just get it covered.
All right.
That's all you do. I mean, my car, you almost can't, because Ford tries to use the same steering wheel for every non-Mustang that they make, which means my car has a pickup truck size steering wheel because they sell five in my like a little hatchback.
Oh, boy.
It's the most ridiculous thing. So when I put a cover on it, it feels like you're just driving a bus. but thankfully it's got it's shitty plastic, but it's just plastic, so it's not going to peel or anything like that. So I can just deal with it.
Okay.
But yeah, most cars just go on, and don't just go to AutoZone. Like, go on Amazon, find the one that's recommended on the forums for being, actual leather or like, good pleather or whatever, and then just buy that one. That's the
my hands can't tell the difference between leather and leather.
It's more just you're looking for one where like the stitching isn't going to come unraveled like the first hard turn. You want to find one that people have used.
Yeah,
that isn't just like an AutoZone special that someone bought like 20 of them and put on
those
Amazon.
foam things that just stretch over the top. I had one of those on my Neon, and it lasted a day. I couldn't stand it. The steering wheel cover, because it made my steering wheel fat, but only on my palm. And it didn't reach around all the way, so I had this gap underneath it. Then my fingernails just started to play with as I was driving. It's like, that's tactilely distracting.
Yeah.
Rob Partisan, thank you for your donation. Acura NSX performance, reliability, and the Acura NSX performance, reliability, and retains value. A great weekend car you can actually enjoy. That's a true statement. If you have the money.
If I had $90,000, I'd love to have an NSX on the weekends.
Dude, I went back and watched our NSX video, and that was back when NSXs were $50,000.
Yeah.
The first gen.
They immediately shot up after you had that video. Like, that was the time. I'm not saying your video had anything to do with it, but
they announced the new NSX, and then
they took too long coming out with it.
That's true.
Which makes it all the crazier that the Bronco worked. Like, they kept on delaying the announcement of the Bronco the same way they did the NSX. But here we are. Everyone loves the Bronco upon reveal, and the NSX was crucified for being, 3 years too late, 2 years too late.
Really?
It was.
Maybe it's the majesty of truck and truck-related products that people are going to wait for the second coming to have one.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Oh, Schmidt. Nice. Thank you for your donation. Hey, guys, just coming back to the channel after a while. I like the new place. Thank you. You guys should do the HW1 long-range road trip special after the lockdown. I don't know what HW1 is.
Highway 1?
Oh.
Like US 1, do they mean?
Probably.
Is US 1 the same as Route 1 that goes through Philly?
I think it's, I don't know whether it is, but there is a Highway 1 or Route 1 that was like the original like I-95 that you could take.
Oh.
I don't think it's still, I'm sure it exists in parts. I know there's a Route 1 in New Jersey that goes north to south.
Yeah, it's California Highway 1 from San Francisco to Los Angeles. Or at least when I type in HW1 road trip, that's what comes up.
Does that thing go through Bakersfield? I think that would be a Google Maps thing.
Maybe.
Because we were just talking to a guy who was working in California, and we had a whole bunch of California problems. He looked like he was living in California for a while. He had the move of wearing shoes and no socks. It was something that I latched onto. It's like, I haven't seen that in a while.
I can't get down with that.
It's so sweaty.
That's exactly why.
No socks. You got to get the sock top ones, like the fabric, like it's like a stretchy top.
Oh yeah.
I usually wear these without socks. I mean, today I had a lot of driving to do, so I felt like I would, and they're starting to die. But these Adidas are solid without them. You just have to find the right, like, I don't know whether people in California do that. And I know like the popular thing on college campuses around here is to like buy Sperry's and be like preppy.
What are Sperry's?
They're like ridiculous looking boat shoes. And I tried doing that because I was a freshman and wanted to fit in, and it just cut the shit out of the back of my feet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'm not preppy. I accept defeat. I'll wear sneakers.
Yeah.
I remember for a while people were wearing loafers for a little bit, like squared off fronts, but maybe that was a 2000s thing.
Maybe.
Like during the day. Loafers or any sort of leather shoe, they don't look right with shorts.
No, they really don't.
You have to wear slacks.
I mean, through sheer force of will, the right person can get away with it. Like through sheer force of will, the right person can get away with any fashion choice. But yeah, it's kind of, shoes.
I need to go buy sandals. I haven't worn sandals yet, and I have a sock tan line. I don't like it. Summer isn't complete for me if I don't have two stripes over my feet.
It's still better than the stupid golf tan hands where
What's a
you
golf tan? Oh,
you have to wear the glove on one hand.
Oh.
So right now it's not as bad because the lighting in here is kind of dark, but I usually have one hand is like darker than the other.
Huh.
I was thinking of you the other day because Greg lives over by the country club and I haven't been there in a long time. I'm like, I should just call up Jeff and see if I can just weasel my way into the racquetball club. He's like, hey, can I just play like the front nine or something like that? I'll pay like how much can it possibly be to play this?
Some of them are a lot now because the golf's the only thing you can do like in public with friends. So like last summer or 2 summers ago, whenever I could play pretty nice courses, or there's a website where you can get discounts and stuff. You know, you pay like $30-$40 for 18, or sometimes you would get $20 if like you found a steal. This year,
$20 for like
those same courses are $100, $90. Yeah,
fuck off.
But I have a membership. I pay $40 a month to belong to 3. Like there's a company that owns 3 courses, and it's just like you go there, you pay $10, and you play 18. And the reason why I picked this one is because they have built-in cooler holders on the carts. And instead of like searching your bag to find beer, they're like, yeah, we got ice for you. Come on through. I'm like, I love you. It's great.
Gosh, the nearest public one to here that isn't the country club is Hidden Valley, all the way out in Friedensburg. But that I know almost every single hole because I used to play there.
Phoenixville has some good courses. That's like an hour away, but when you're golfing, an hour is really a reasonable amount of time to drive because you're doing it for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Phoenix, I've played because my brother goes to Ursinus. So I meet him out there and we play sometimes in like Collegeville, Phoenixville. And there are some good places there for cheap, very cheap.
Real quick, Patrick George posted on Twitter that a press release from the new name for the Fiat Chrysler or FCA and Peugeot SA group merger name is going to be Stellantis. Stellantis, rooted in the Latin verb stello, meaning to brighten with stars.
That's a shoe.
The Stellantis?
Stounds. It sounds. I did it again. It sounds like stiletto.
Oh yeah, it kind of does. I think it kind of sounds like a medication.
Sounds like the name of a car model from like a late night automation stream that you end up watching because it's 2 a.m. and you can't sleep.
Yeah,
nice.
That's about it.
Draws inspiration from this new and ambitious alignment of storied automotive brands and strong company cultures that in coming together are creating one of the newest leaders in the next era of mobility while at the same time preserving all the exceptional value and the values of its constituent parts.
Oh, is you or is you ain't like constituency.
In coming together, the cars will fall apart, or it will then fall apart, just like all of the cars that all of these manufacturers have ever made in their history. It's like the 4 least reliable brands on like the planet are now one brand.
Oh, this is good.
Just a bunch of like these parts when our like Voltron coming together, and it just forms a trash can, and that guy from the Palladium with his dick out just pisses on the sidewalk.
Oh.
When our powers combine, we're a hobo.
It's like the name's Latin origins pay tribute to the rich history of its founding companies, while the evocation of astronomy captures the true spirit of optimism, energy, and renewal driving this industry-changing merger. So the Stellantis
sophomore English major to write that.
Yeah,
deep into the thesaurus.
Yeah, I mean, damn. It's like I
would love for GM to just put out a statement saying Saturn will.
I wonder.
Like, we had space first, bitch.
Like, I do wonder to what extent, like with FCA, I should just like do what journalists do when they like pre-write an obituary for certain people, and I just like pre-write an RCR stories for whatever FCA is going to do next.
It just keeps surviving.
Yeah, it's like
as long as I got Jeep
like a cockroach.
It's the Keith Richards of the auto industry.
Yeah. Oh, that's a line.
Yeah.
Floyd from Tennessee. Thank you for your donation. So I know a guy who has a 1986 Justy with 100,000 miles.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, Subaru Justy?
Justy.
Yeah, those are like.
It was one of the first or last of the old school CVTs. I'm thinking it might be the first. One of the first cars in the U.S. had have a CVT like in the 80s.
Mm.
But that was when a CVT acted like a CVT and people thought the engine was braking because you just put your foot down and it would just rev to, I don't know, 6,000 RPM and just stay there as the car accelerated, which is what a CVT is supposed to do. But people were like,
The
the
Prius
engine does it.
or it did. The one my sister had, the 2014.
I love the way that thing looks.
Like it kind of looks like a somehow even cheaper like second gen Tercel.
Yeah.
It's there.
Subaru Justy. Look how close the back of the car is to the rear door.
There's no
It's like
nothing
one
there.
hand.
You get a car. That's it. Cargo space? No.
Car.
If you flat-handed a sandwich up against the space
Yeah.
in that space, the crust would be touching the it's just delightful.
It's like you ask for a sandwich and you get a slice of cheese and 2 slices of bread.
Oh, take me back to England when we had those cheese sandwiches from the petrol station.
Yeah.
In cellophane wraps.
Ugh.
Iced ink.
Iced ink.
Again, thank
Very
you for your
nice.
donation. How has the virus affected you guys? I mean, it's rural
I mean-
Pennsylvania, so
Knock on wood. I mean, it's one of those things where I think a lot of the people are mad that the governor is.
I don't want to wear a mask.
Yeah, and
I can't breathe in this.
my thing is that like worst case scenario is that I'm helping to stop the bad thing from happening. Best case scenario is it was a massive overreaction and whatever, but I still, respected the people around me enough to want to protect them if I'm in any way, asymptomatic, and I don't want to, spread an illness to anybody. And part of it is that, yes, I miss going to the gym. Yes, I miss going to the movies. Yes, I am going to miss the hell out of going to like New York Comic Con and New York Auto Show and going to California or Portland or wherever we were planning on going. It's just like all these different things that I'm missing out on. And I understand that, but I'm just happy to be alive and happy to kind of, Tony Airlines, and happy to sort of have a way to kind of make money still, because not everyone is as lucky. So
It's so weird, this
yeah.
whole situation we're in. I mean, I had it, and
Yeah.
when I had it, I had symptoms. I only had it for like 2-3 days. I had the symptoms for it.
Oh, you got checked out?
Yeah, I actually, by the time I got tested, they only had the swabs at the time, because I got it pretty early. I got it like late April, mid-April.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And, by the time when they do the swab, it's just, do you currently have it?
Mhm.
And, I was better by then because it took a week and a half for me to get the test. But I was running out of breath, like recording a lecture for my class. Like it was like,
Really?
what else and I had a fever and headache. It was like, what else could I have feasibly had?
Yeah.
And I could see, look, I was fine. It was the equivalent of a bad cold, but I could see someone who, say, smoked a ton,
Yeah.
being even more out of breath than me and needing a trip to the hospital and possibly even worse. Like it was that sketchy. Best way I can equate it. Did you ever play a sport when you were coming down with like an illness, or when you had the flu or a bad cold or something like that?
Yeah.
There are those moments,
I
like
remember
most of the time you're okay, but
Gym class and you feel
you
sick.
feel floating almost. And there are the moments where you're like, I should not be doing this. And you're out of breath and your body just feels wrong.
Yeah.
Like there were heartbeats of that
Hmm.
throughout the time I had it.
I remember once or twice I was going out drinking with friends and I knew I was coming down with something, but I rallied and went out and is like ingesting this. I'm just going to drink myself out to the other side. And then by the end of the night, my mouth was a nuclear disaster.
Yeah.
And it's just the body ache was everywhere. Although the whole shortness of breath thing, the last time I had big time shortness of breath was when I kicked the potheads out of that apartment I was living in, 149 Main. And I started cleaning up and they would just smoke cigarettes and ash everywhere. So all that stuff kicked up.
Mhm.
And so I breathed in like 2 semesters worth of cigarette smoke in 2 days.
Yeah.
And I remember I couldn't take big breaths without coughing.
Yeah.
So,
It's sketchy. And to be honest, the test sucked too. They like stab you in the like, it's not just like a swab the top of your nose. Like they get up in there and it's not, pleasant at all.
Nah.
Avoid getting it if you can.
I went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor last year because I was having like allergy troubles with my throat, and I wanted to see that it wasn't anything else major. But I guess I'm just have late adult onset allergies. But they had to shove the camera up my nose, like way the hell back, and then go back down my throat that way. And I keep thinking, like, why does it have to happen this way? But I didn't really ask that question. But like they asked me, and I didn't even tell them I sang or anything like that. But once it was back there, he's like, "Oh, sing something for me." And I'm just kind of like, when I was 17, it was a very good year. It's just like, but it wasn't that song, but it's still, it was just kind of like they're looking at vocal cords, nodules, all that stuff. Well,
who got the hooch?
Yeah.
Baby, who's got the sweetest thing in the world? Let's get real, let's get heavy, till the water breaks the levee. Let's get loose. Who got the hooch?
Oh.
So Tony was saying, he's talking to someone else, saying 9 out of 10, can't wait to live stream ridiculous multiplayer. I'm kind of disappointed there's not a single radial engine aircraft included. Don't know what he's talking about. They're probably the new flight simulator.
Oh, yeah,
game.
no, someone asked him about Microsoft Flight Sim or something like that.
Tony, come back here. Let's do the podcast on your days off and like next week. Just come on up here. We'll bring the beat, and maybe Greg International will just go up in his experimental plane or his Archer.
Fit in the back of your Forester?
We need like 3 pallet jacks, one for the back of the car.
But don't you want to do it now? just to see if that's something. If I had that car, I would try to like stick my Honda Beat and everything. Like I would put it in my family room. I would try to fit it through a door. You know, like put it in the attic. Just like
dude, Greg International, like one of his cars. This is out back. I can't show the camera because it's my backyard, but he has this. He has a C10, and we may be able to get like half of the Beat in that truck. Now it has rust, but the frame is fine. Like he said that this truck was like, oh, it's just an old truck. It's worth like $1,000, and I wish I didn't try to correct him. And I said, dude, this is a fucking C10. It's so hot right now. It's like even with the rust stuff, you have a $5,000 truck because it has not a new engine, but a new engine that they just source Faithful's marketplace.
Yeah.
Put all new gaskets in it, and it runs. Now it has cherry bomb exhaust on it and side dumps, so it goes everybody. But that's what people want.
Yeah.
The inside is kind of it's 70s GM. Actually, I can't tell with C10s if this is a 70s or 80s.
It has
or
wood.
90s.
It's already better than most 70s GM. It's got something that's not just black.
That's true. And that was when you could put, again, I'm sorry I can't show this, but that was when you could put like any old steering wheel cover because the steering wheels were so thin.
Yeah.
It just worked. I told him if he's ever going to sell it, let me know.
Absolutely.
Someone says, are we coming to Boston later? I don't know.
Gone to Boston.
We got to go to Boston. I was watching Good Will Hunting on TV the other day. Man, that movie is so good.
Yeah. My boy's wicked smart.
Yeah, no, it's that is like a perfect script.
I nearly fought a guy in Boston once. I'm like a pacifist, but we were watching, I was up there. We do a hiking and beer road trip every spring. We couldn't do it this year. And we were watching the Sixers win the playoffs after years of tanking and being awful. So we were going to go try to find a Boston sports bar, but the whole town was shut down because the Celtics were in a playoff game. So we just ended up at like a Buffalo Wild Wings, but smashing people.
Yeah.
And there was this one guy who saw I was wearing a Sixers hat and just grabbed it off my head. And was just like, Sixers fucking suck, man. And threw it in the trash can. I'm like, dude. Come on, man. And he's just like, what, you want to fight about it? I'm like, not really. I hiked like 10 miles today, and I had about 20 beers earlier.
I would prefer you had his
kind of want my hat.
Yeah.
But it's funny how like the Boston stereotypes, not all of them, but
yeah,
some of them are very accurate to a lot of people.
Right. I'm very non-confrontational. And Boston invented, what are you looking at? Mark R says, re the CX650T, you have to find a Suzuki RE5 to ride. Yes. I would very much like to ride the RE5. Suzuki made a rotary motorcycle. Also, Norton made one as well. I heard like just because you put a rotary in a motorcycle doesn't make it make more sense than a car. It still has the same problems, oil consumption. But the thing is, like, oh, it revs really high. But now we're talking
So what?
motorcycles.
Yeah.
They all rev high.
Yeah.
The exception of Harleys, and even, well, the 650T only revved to 9,000 only.
Who wants a smooth motorcycle? Like, that's the other appeal of the rotary, right? Is that you don't have pistons firing in all the different directions.
Right.
You just have something spinning. But it's like you're on a motorcycle.
You can make an
There's
inline
nothing-
four smooth.
Yeah. And there's nothing smooth about riding a motorcycle that's going to have a rotary in it.
Right.
You know, like it's a motorcycle.
And
You have the
these
wind
things were made in,
blasting
like,
you in the face. Like,
Yeah. There's other things to think about, but I'm glad they did it. It's a wonderful like engineering demonstration, but it's not a marketable one.
Yeah. I have a regular chat question,
Okay.
which is from Suhail NS. Can you talk the American sedans? Why are they dying?
I think it has to do with margins. There isn't that much. You can't mark up in lean times, especially now. You can't mark up a sedan like you can mark up a truck or an SUV. And I think that the idea of the sedan would have been the everyday family car, and then you'd have the truck or the fun car. Now, families that were 2-car families are now 1-car families. Families that were 3-car families are now 2-car families.
yeah, it's the wage. It's wages. That's
And-
why the sedans are done now.
Yeah.
And like my generation, because technically I'm a millennial born in 85, it's like we're not really having kids at the same rate that previous generations have been. And I don't know that a lot of us even necessarily want to. And so to that extent, I could see why maybe like sedan sales are taking a hit, because it's like, well, why do I need this necessarily? And also, I mean, how exciting are they really? But then I think excitement is kind of overrated to a certain degree. I don't know.
I think a big factor too is so like safety standards, right? You can't have a normal looking, like even the sexiest looking sedan that they make now, it's still super bloated, and the window line is super high compared to the way they used to be. SUVs still basically look like SUVs always have.
Yeah.
But that visual appeal that like a sedan used to have over an SUV and over a minivan, it doesn't exist anymore because they're all super bloated. Like we have better looking bloated sedans, but can you genuinely name like a sedan that's prettier than an old sedan was?
Yeah, it almost feels like automakers realized how marketable SUVs were and reverse engineered sedans to look like SUVs, just smaller. And so that you end up with the same like rounded, smooth, egg-shaped, you know.
It's a feedback loop. As more people buy the SUVs, you need your window line higher so you can survive an impact with a higher riding SUV instead of it hitting the glass and you dying immediately.
Yeah.
So then you have it higher, and then the SUVs get taller, and then it gets taller. It's not that I'm really going to miss it. I mean, I owned a sedan, and then I did the smart thing and I bought a hatchback. You know, like I have no
There you
regrets
go.
about that.
And then one more regular chat question is from Devin Horita. Thoughts on the new 400Z? He's on 400Z.
I haven't seen any pictures.
I'll have to pull it up. It's actually I find it kind of nice.
Earlier, yeah.
Yeah. It's
The teaser one.
I was almost ready to write off Nissan altogether because I wasn't picking up what they were putting down. But
What are these crumbs?
was it whatever what was on?
That's just a render guess that they have.
Oh, that was a render.
I can try to find the teaser
Yeah.
because they teased it in that commercial and you can't really see it.
I don't know. It's very
I wonder if they'll bring out like an all-electric one. But Nissan doesn't have any all-electric cars.
Yeah, they do. They had the first one. They had the Leaf. They
They
don't have a sporty platform,
Yeah,
but they have. So this is what they released. This is their official image. Hold on, let me try to get this full screen. No, it wants me to doodle on it. What the hell is this? Okay, that's the best I can do. That's all they have. You know, it's not like they have much, but that's the image that they released.
Like having a black silhouette of a car with a little bit of 255 white for the headlight profile is the automotive equivalent of side boob.
Well, I think what they're trying to do there is they don't even care about the look of the car. They just want to show people that, guys, it's not going to be a 370Z again. Look at the shape of the headlight. We're trying to go retro with this.
Okay.
They're aiming for that 240Z, 270Z look where it was like the Jaguar E-Type looking one.
Yeah.
And I think that's all that they were releasing, because they released this during COVID. Like they knew we're not gonna be able to do a concept like, this is what you guys are gonna get. We just want to show you that now that Goslin's gone, now that he's been arrested, we're gonna try to. Their CEO got arrested for fraud.
Oh,
they're gonna try to do things the right way now.
Not to go back to the Bronco thing, but I am kind of surprised that they're still moving forward with all their big reveals, like automakers.
They delayed it a ton. They had to. Like, it was getting to the point where people were going to lose attention. They cornered themselves. They wanted to reveal it in New York in like May or April, whenever the New York show was supposed to be.
Did we ever? This is going to be a very weird transition, but did we ever do the super chat that mentioned anime titties?
No, we didn't. But yes, anime titties.
No, because that was like a way back.
He always does it like right when we begin. We always get an anime titties right away for $1.99.
No, because I and shout out to that, but it provides a segue. I've been watching this anime called Carol and Tuesday. It's on Netflix. I'll just get off the topic, but needless to say, just check it out. It's fun. It's two girls trying to make it as musicians. It doesn't sound like it would be that exciting, but it's a good show.
Okay.
So that's all I got. Because like part of my routine is always watching something in the background while I'm working. And then like I was watching Mulholland Drive, which had a Porsche Boxster in it, like the douchebag director character in that movie. And I realize that movie slowly become one of my favorites, but just from watching it like 5, 6, 7 times, even though, like I understand the skeleton of it, but why any of it? It's just, I don't know. It's David Lynch. What are you going to do?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a good background show if you haven't watched that. There's
Maybe I should.
7 seasons of it, and it's not, it's like little 25-minute episodes, and the jokes kind of last the whole episode, so you don't, like, they're like gags, don't get me wrong, but like if you miss something because you're focusing on writing, like you're not missing the whole point of the show. Like they don't rush things. There's no single like moment that's a huge plot point. It just kind of builds the whole way. So you can miss like a minute or two. Yeah. And then you'll still get it at the end, and the characters are important. It's not like a wipe it clean every show. Like there's some stuff moving forward. It's a funny show. Yeah. It's not like incredible or anything, but it's good.
Yeah, another good background one is the new Unsolved Mysteries, although I'm kind of like thrown by A, the lack of reenactments, B, no host, C, every episode is one case, which would be fine if these cases could sustain the hour, but a lot of them just kind of lose steam.
If you had to pick a host for Unsolved Mysteries today, who would it be?
Lance Reddick.
Ice-T.
No, it's because I think for the right host, it has to be a host that like
Liam Neeson
is as good being heard. Like if you ever hear Lance Reddick, and I don't know what to tell you that he was on The Wire. It's like he has the perfect voice for it. Or Keith David, like the voice actor who's done like everything from Mass Effect to Rick and Morty. Like,
true.
That would be a great guy, but it has to be like that deep. And I do like that they throw a certain like Robert Stack sort of cameo shout out type thing in the background of like at the end of the credit sequence, you just see like his like image appear and then it dissipates it's a good enough series, but it felt like a completely separate true crime anthology that they're like, well, we could just call it Unsolved Mysteries and get some brand recognition on this. And that's what it feels like, because it doesn't feel like Unsolved Mysteries. I'm not expecting them to, film it with, on whatever they filmed the 80s and early 90s Unsolved Mysteries on. And I don't expect them to use synth for the theme song, although it would be nice.
They should
so
just
good.
host it with a different 80s action movie star every single week. Like
Yeah.
get Arnold one week.
Yeah, he'd do it.
Just go the complete opposite direction of the way they used to do it.
They got
Rocky, get Sil.
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
Just get Reb Brown. That's a Spoonie reference. Get I don't know. I would love to see it. I mean, he would never do it. But, well, maybe he would, but Jean-Claude Van Damme, because I freaking love JCVD movies.
If they could have Steven Seagal, but he would just go off script.
Yeah.
But you just got to keep the cameras rolling.
Just
and like not
keep going, keep rolling. Just good shit.
Yeah.
Turn it into a comedy and just have that 80s action star play every role in a reenactment of the scene.
It's
Like the
he's,
terrified little girl is Arnold Schwarzenegger. The cop is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
he's giving the update on the case and saying, well, they found the guy and, they didn't find him as quick as I would have found him. Like what I would have done to him, it's or just get Joey Diaz to host it. It's like, it's like it reminds me of this time in North Bergen. I was eating this monkey. Eating their monkey.
And you could go 1,000. Get like a slice of pie and a Coke at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, you could used to be $1.52 slices, 75 cents a slice. You used to stack them and then you fold them because it was New York style, so it's floppy like your dick after you just came. That easy one where you don't really. I don't have it hot in
it. Ian's Variety Channel. Thank you for your donation. I don't know if you guys talked about this before, but what are your thoughts on the new Honda E? I wish it was coming to New US. I'd love to see it. I'd love to drive it. We don't have the infrastructure for it yet. Hopefully soon. I like that it looked like the Honda City, which is another dumb, stupid purchase that I'd be willing to consider.
Yeah.
Because a Honda City uses the Honda Beat engine, but in the front.
We just don't have the setup for that kind of electric car in America. It sucks, but we're too spread out. It's not like Europe where, I still guess most people aren't going to have 100-mile trip more than once a month or so, but like enough do that if you're going to spend, I think it's like 30,000 pounds. So that's like $38,000, $35,000 on like what would have to be a second car.
Yeah.
That doesn't really make sense in America. I mean, it's one thing if you're getting a Tesla that can do 300 miles and, you have the superchargers intact, but the Honda E has a range of like 120 miles, 100 miles.
That's too dicey.
And in cities, no one owns cars anyway, unless you're out in LA. And in LA, everything's super spread out. So you couldn't do an electric car anyway.
You'll be in traffic for so long anyway.
Yeah.
Your choice is Tesla or unless you go big market like that one Porsche.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Taycan.
Yeah.
And the thing is like for us, where's our nearest charging station? Like Allentown?
There's one there's a
They are
charging
coming up.
station in Hamburg, but Muller owns it.
Huh. All right. Well, there you go.
Like the jewelry store, I think there's like one unofficial one in Hamburg.
Huh.
Now, the charging stations aren't the big factor for me. It's just the idea of having to stop like that for more than 5 minutes to refill. Like,
Oh, yeah. You're just like,
Like
Well-
if you were put it this way, if you were just driving, if you were doing the trip from either like Harrisburg or Pittsburgh to Philly, in a Tesla, you probably have to stop once or twice. In that Honda E, you would have had to stop like 4 times along that trip.
Yeah.
And for like an hour or two each time,
Dumb.
at the best possible charger. It's ridiculous. That
Yeah,
turns
it's like-
what will take you a day into something you probably got to get a hotel for.
yeah. I don't have enough podcasts for this.
I had a dream last night that we were gearing up to on a road trip, and I can't remember. But that was, I had a dream. I forget which stand-up had this. Like when you start telling I had a dream story, it should start with the following stuff didn't happen. Blah 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 blah.
Oh, right here. This guy says, want to start a business retrofitting charging stations in apartment buildings. Have you ever met someone who runs an apartment building? They would never, ever, 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 ever pay for anything out of pocket like that. And they would never supply the power for that. They wouldn't want any of the liability if a fire started out of that.
Nope.
Apartment complexes would never do anything like that unless they are building it from the ground up with like a brand new, like, luxury apartment complex. You're never going to see that in like the average apartment complex. I got screamed at for my buddy. No, it wasn't my friend. It was like our Uber driver or something. Needed to charge his car. He like dropped us off. He was in a Tesla Model 3. And there's an outlet like outside that's not hooked up to our power. And I'm like, yeah, like I have a cable. If you want to just leave it here for an hour, you can go to the 7-Eleven across the street.
Yeah.
And I got reamed by the leasing office for letting him plug his car in.
Ooh. I believe it. It's one of those, not that I wouldn't, but it's something where liability is the order of the day, in that like we are looking for, low risk. Always everything is a study in risk management, every aspect of daily life, it seems.
And yeah, the Honda E being a commuter car for people who can afford to have more than one car, why would you buy a tiny little electric hatchback when you could just have a Mercedes like C-Class or a BMW 4 Series or anything? Oh, yeah. There's one of those for sale by me. It's 4x4. And it's $8,000.
I'm looking at an 89 Honda Acti pickup truck for sale in Eatontown, New Jersey.
Huh.
That's probably the one that I saw. Is it $8,000?
$4,800.
Oh, so that's a cheaper one. Is that the 4x4 one, or is it just 2-wheel drive?
It doesn't say 4x4. So
The one I saw was 4x4 and it had a lift on it. I was just picturing it being
Ew,
the most
oh,
terrifying thing in the world to drive.
They look so cool. I've driven these things and they're scary. But at the same time, they're cool. But I have no idea what I would use it for. It's too small to haul stuff around. I'd just be that guy in the tiny truck.
See, municipalities should just put chargers on street side spaces that would normally have meters. I feel like that's kind of the end goal, but it still doesn't solve the problem that you said about like, well, I'm still standing here for an hour waiting for it to charge. Although if it's like a parking meter, then you plug it in and then you go do whatever you're going to do on that street.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully by the time you're done there, it'll be a little more charged. But the idea of it is just, time is precious as it is. Oh, that's so
No, if
pretentious.
electric cars are the future, then the future is no one owning a car.
Yeah.
It'll be Uber and stuff, because all you're doing, an electric car is not fundamentally different from a gas car. All you're doing is you're finding a way to store energy that came from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you're driving a car with it. And lithium batteries, it's pretty much just like a slider in a video game. Like you can either have the battery last a long time in terms of charging it a bunch, not like, last more like 400 miles or whatever. Or you can charge it quickly and you just have to pick a spot along that slider. Like It's like a phone battery. Some phone company, Poco or something like that, is coming out with a 125 watt charger, but it'll only work to charge your phone like 50 times and then your phone battery's shot. So like, it's that same issue where it's not like a gas engine where you can fill it up over and over and over again, because a lithium ion battery, you're using almost the same gasoline over and over again. And what happens if you use old gas in a car? The same thing that will happen to your electric car.
Wait, what?
A lithium ion battery, just picture it as if you're using the same gasoline over and over again. Like it gets gunkier and the engine gets built up and all that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Batteries lose their oomph over that.
It's not, I just look, as I'm sure there are smarter and better engineers attacking this problem that'll solve it.
Mhm.
I just, from my seat, can't see.
People in the chat have talked about, well, what about fast switching of these batteries? That
What do
is
you
a
do with the
solution.
old batteries?
It's that, aren't they like really flammable though? And that, and the people don't
The flames
dispose of
last
them
for like 2 weeks.
yeah. So one person not disposing of one properly, and and even if you do dispose of them properly, like who's to say, So it's rough. I mean, I get that something has to change eventually in terms of sustainable energy sources, but I'm trying to think of I understand why it's so difficult to get the infrastructure up and running, because I think people have a natural aversion to these types of things.
Right. When we were filming today, I was talking to Joe. I stopped and it's another guy who goes on you, and he works at one of the gas power plants, and I had a talk with him like a year or two ago about well, what do you think? Do we have the infrastructure to say everybody had an electric car? Like, would the electrical distribution in Berks and Schuylkill County be able to handle that? And Joe quickly said, "Oh yeah, we already did those calculations. Like if everybody drove an electric car, it would only be a 20% increase on the grid, the electrical grid in this area of Pennsylvania. Like we're totally ready for it."
Yeah.
So he said because it's on and off peak power. He said the real drain is stuff during the summer when everybody kicks on their air conditioners and runs them all the time.
Yeah.
So versus charging overnight, it's not a big deal. So at least according to this one source that I have, or if we all drove regular cars, we all drove electric cars, there will be no more electricity. And I'm like, well, according to this one guy, they already did these calculations, and it's Jocko Willink. It's no factor.
I think it all just comes back to, like, there's a reason why, 120 years ago we had gas cars, we had electric cars, and we picked gas cars for a reason. They make sense in a ton more ways, and their electric cars have these problems that hopefully we can fix.
That's going to be an audio spike. I'm going to have to fix in a few minutes when we close this up. I don't think there were any more super chats. I think we asked everybody. Just updating it here. No, we got one more. Andrew Palmer. Thank you for your donation. Andrew Palmer asks, have you seen any videos on the new ZX25R? It's a motorcycle. Probably not coming to the US. We always get the big bikes, but it looks like it'll be a good time. 17,000 red line plus not dying. So ZX25R. Now, is that a 2-liter engine or is that a 250? ZX25R. Who can Google fastest?
How could they do a 2.5 liter that revs to 17,000 RPM?
Exactly. Has to be a 250 cc. We're going to ride apart because it's right there. I need an engine displacement.
Someone
okay,
says
to revive the Ninja 250, and they're calling it the ZX25R. See, if they call it the new Ninja 250, I wouldn't have a problem. So fine, yeah. That means you're going to have teeny tiny cylinders. You're going to have fuel injection. This may even have direct injection. Blah, 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 7,000 RPM, which means you're going to be cruising at on the highway at 10,000 RPM.
No thanks.
It's going to be, I want to ride it. It looks neat. I mean, it looks like any other bike. They've been trying to make it look bigger. I have to see it in relation to someone standing next to it. I like the paint job. So that'll be neat. Where they bring it to the US, it may be Japan only. Teeny.
Driving a motorbike anywhere is super dangerous. In America, it's bad because we have such big vehicles, but every country has their reason. Like in Europe, it's because there are so many blind turns and you have to be terrified in a bike.
Well, in America, it's bad because it seems like nobody gears up.
No. Like when we were filming today, we saw a guy riding this is when I was driving the car, and we saw a guy ripping along the road on the four-wheeler wearing only shorts.
What, he's rocking like sandals or something?
Yeah, I don't think he had shoes on.
There's a town near
four-wheeler.
Yeah, I see it on.
And in Philly.
The dude's
hilarious now.
Oh, they're doing wheelies.
It's awesome. You see it down the street. You'll see like 30 of them in a row of just people, just shirtless people just doing wheelies on four-wheelers and dirt bikes.
Yeah.
And you'll just be sitting there just like delivering pizza, just like, what the hell is going on right now?
More squids than a game of Splatoon.
That's a line.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to be wrapping this thing up soon. How long have we been going? 2 hours. An hour, 48 minutes.
Oh, that's a good
do I want to drink
runtime.
another bar, or do I want to put FOD in me as I pronounce things? Some guy just arriving here, heavy tanker, 1945. You like to play World of Tanks. I like to play World of Tanks. So I know my name. Henry Tanker, 1945. If I could go back there, I'd only live in the 40s if I get Wi-Fi. And now I'll play War of the Tanks, and I'll tell people about the future, and then I'll get elected President of North America.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh
Right now.
shit! I'm now old enough to be president now. So, my birthday was Saturday, so I got to
happy birthday!
Oh,
then.
thank you. But now I'm officially old enough to run for the nation's highest office.
Yay!
Yeah, I mean I never do it, but this still, I can't imagine.
I just want to reply to Chris McNarley here.
Okay.
People in the USA are generally very safe around motorcycles, and there's no slow speed intersections in one straight line. The biggest issue I've seen with motorcycles in America is just every state has their own unwritten rules or some written rules about lane structure, about who's supposed to be in the left lane, where trucks are supposed to be. And 90% of the time, it'll be relatively safe for an in-state person to drive their motorcycle flying down the highway, relatively speaking. But it's that 10% when you have like a New York driver in New Jersey or a New Jersey driver in PA who's confused why trucks are required to be in the left lane instead of no trucks allowed at all in the left lane.
Gotcha.
It's those expectation differences that really get you, because it's not like you're going from country to country. Like if you're in Europe, it's like, yeah, clearly the road rules are going to be different. The signs are a different color. The license, everything's all different.
Oh, yeah.
In America, it's just over a bridge and bang, I'm in Jersey now.
Yeah.
But everything's different on the road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's the biggest risk.
The whole thing about the state highway signs change. And like, I'm used to seeing Jersey. I'm used to seeing PA. PA, I like because it's just a Keystone symbol. It looks authoritative. Jersey has, I forget what, round signs for your state highways?
For a state highway? No, they're white and black.
Okay. I was in some other states. When we went down to Southern Stab, it was like, I think it was South Carolina had the shape of the sign was South Carolina. Like it was a black sign, and then a white silhouette of South Carolina and then black letters. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember the giant tower with a peach. I think that was Georgia, though. But
Hector asks, thank you for your generous donation. A round, may I suggest a crisp chili lager?
I just have funny. I'm not saying we got to drink it, but
What's
this is literally a lime Canadian lager, crisp chili.
Oh, so
every single sense
Where'd
of
you
the
get
word.
that?
There's another carton one. It's a different carton beer.
So we got a Canadian beer, lime light Canadian lager, but
It's a weird beer.
Is it from a Canadian brewery?
No, it's from North Jersey.
Okay, so we got a Jersey beer making a Canadian lager, and I don't know what constitutes a Canadian lager because lager is German. Oh wow, that is yellow.
The story with this beer maker is he does weird stuff. He's a psychopath. And
At first glance, oh wait, it's hazy. I thought it looked like Bud Light Lime, but
this guy, basically his first beer he brewed because he would ride the ferry from North Jersey to New York every day. And he used to get upset that they only have Bud Light and Coors Light on the ferry. And that's because those were the only beers that brewed below 4.5% ABV or whatever it was. So he brewed this tasty, like thick tasting beer that just was 4.5. And he showed up at the ferry station one day with like a crate of it. He's like, you guys have to sell this legally now. And then they did. And he made a bunch of money. And then he opened a brewery. Called it boat beer.
Boat beer.
It's still on sale in New Jersey. It's really good.
I miss ferries. I mean, last ferry I was on was the Martha's Vineyard ferry. And there's something special about just driving your car on a boat. But then like you're on the boat and you're like, it's like kind of dumb after that. Like you can go up and get the win. Of course, Martha's ferry, people are going and having fun. But did you take the New York ferry at all?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago for New York Comic Con when buses weren't going straight to the Port Authority anymore. And I had to stop at like New Jersey to take the ferry over into New York. And yeah, that was pleasant.
They're still important ferries. Like the one, my parents have a spot in Cape May that I go to pretty often. And it's like a 2-hour drive to get to the point in Delaware that's right across. And it's awesome. They have great breweries. We got to go up and around. Yeah. Or you can just get on a ferry for 40 minutes and you have your car. And it's like $8 ticket. Like you just go.
That's it?
It was something crazy. Like, I mean, I think it's more, but you have coupons that they just give out like candy. So like, and that ferry is still super like useful and there's no way around it. There's no better way to do it. I just think that the one to New York since 9/11, they're super like careful about everything that happens on that.
I wonder if some people just don't leave their. Do you have to leave your car on the ferry?
Yeah, you're usually required to leave your car. I think they, at least in the Cape May one, they lock us off that deck.
Okay.
So I guess you could hide in there and no one's really going to check. But then you're just like a bunch of cars like groaning and moving around in the waves. And it's like, I don't know, it'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
And they have a bar. It's like, just go sit at the bar.
Yeah.
It's a cool area in Delaware, actually. Lewis, Rehoboth, that whole shtick.
We should have music going on in the background, but I have to like put a whole bunch of.
Yeah, Rehoboth Beach. Someone mentioned it.
We'd have to get a whole bunch of like royalty-free music from the YouTube library, and then I'd have to hook my tape cassette player up to the computer again and record it onto the tape cassette player, because I just want like a physical object like on that mobile bar table right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a burpee beer. Americans say lager like lugger. No, I don't. Lager.
Lager.
Yeah. I mean, I have a weird accent
Lager?
in a lot of words,
Lager?
so I might say it weird because I have a little bit of Philly, a little bit of South Jersey, and just a little bit of North Jersey Jew. I mean, that's my family. But so I do say, like, I say water weird. I say chocolate weird.
Chocolate.
Yeah. I mean, I can like change, like if I'm around a bunch of PA people for a while, I'll start saying the words in that style. I pick up whatever accent of the people I'm around very quickly. But yeah, like my default accent, I probably said lugger or something like that. Just who knows?
Bob with SEK, I forget what that is.
Kroner?
Late to the party. Here's some money for the ham. Hams. Cracking a can of modus operandi. Don't know what that is, but it sounds very hoppy. And joining it now, or that would be like or maybe it could be like a Troganator style beer.
Maybe.
I had some skunked trogs the other day.
Ugh.
It was disgusting. But then I had Hakuna Matata from the brewery across the street. It made my day better.
I gotta pee soon. I made my way through. Well, these are half beers because we were splitting them.
Yeah,
So it's really only like a beer and a half.
Yeah.
No, I want to. Acoustic Theory just says Roy Cockburn. Is that a reference to something?
I do not know.
I don't know. Sorry that my energy is down.
I mean,
we were running around outside for a while with the car. We were filming today.
Yeah.
Today's Wednesday. We got to film Saturday and Sunday. It may rain Sunday or Saturday.
I think it's Sunday because I checked the weather the other day.
It can rain every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very much something that is, it's probably Sunday, if I had to guess.
Oh, and then there's another day, but my calendar is way over there.
Yeah.
Find that other day will be good for August and probably a week into September. And then after that, there's a bunch of people I said yes to, but I still haven't coordinated it. What I really got to do is once the tar dries on the driveway out there, and I'm going to take my motorcycle out and go scout this place up in Jim Thorpe because there's people who are going to have to meet us up there. So at some point we have to do this film shoot up in Jim Thorpe. And I actually don't think it's in Jim Thorpe. I think it's nearby Nesquehoning, but all that sort of NEPA places, Northeast PA, that we rarely venture up into.
Good hiking up there.
Oh, it's beautiful up there. It's gorgeous. It's also an hour to go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like you got Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, and then that's it. Yeah. Are we done?
Well, no, because we're getting more of them. Which, I mean, hey, money's money. But
Yeah. Speaking of which, Isaiah A., thank you for your donation. Just started watching this channel last month, and I love it. Oh, thank you. Submitted my almost mint stock 5th generation Honda Prelude in North Carolina. What are your thoughts on it? Well, we got to do the last generation, the 5th gen Prelude. It's not as good as the 4th, although I've never driven a 5th. I'm just making this up because I'm prejudiced because 90s. But
The 5th gen looks so good. I mean, the 4th gen looks good too, but it's just compared to the other stuff, Honda was starting to get into the bubbly Civics, you know. But that 5th gen Prelude still looked fantastic.
I get what they're doing with the headlights with that. They're trying to make it look like it has pop-ups, but it doesn't. It has just regular static headlights.
They were relating it, I think, to the NSX. They were trying to be like, hey, look, it's the performance, like this is our look. Because they had to get rid of the pop-ups on the NSX. It had those little like square things with the little bubbles in them. Yeah. I think they were trying to relate it to that, like make it like, no, it's not an accident. We weren't just required to do this. Look, it's our new headlight design.
Yeah. That's a line that's got to go in the that's got to go in the review when we finally do a 5th gen Prelude. So yeah, North Carolina, I'd love to travel more, but the Rona, we're now in the Rona, the new wave. So right now, most cars you're going to see is just going to be Pennsylvania, Andy, my unmodified 2004 STI on bring a trailer. 1 hour left. Love you guys and stay left.
He's about to make bank on that car.
That almost sounded like a Ben Folds
Give
song.
us a link to Andy the car. We'll check it out real quickly. I gotta pee, the beer runs through me, but now I got 2 bathrooms. I put a bidet in it. I put a bidet in the other one. One sprays my asshole slightly harder. That's the one upstairs. The one upstairs is a laser gun. The one downstairs is a weaker laser gun. I can poop and look at my neighbors from the bathroom near the kitchen. Pooping and looking. Pooping and looking. I got to put a little sign right by this, because there's this window right by the toilet, and you can just look at everything. So, but if you look at from the outside, you just see your head there, like not even your shoulders. And I got to make it like a tiny little frame sign and stick it to the tile on the inside that bathroom that just says pooping and looking. Okay, what do you want to do? You want to end this, or do you want to look at this?
I mean, did he give a link?
No, he didn't give a link to his trailer 2004 STI. I mean, we could search in Google, but I gotta pee like I gotta pee like I'm from the city-state of History of Civilization 1.
I'm a history teacher. It says a lot, but I have no idea what.
The city-state of Am I correct, or am I remembering my classes wrong? City-state of UR. There it is.
I've been playing Civ.
Was an important Sumerian city-state in ancient Mesopotamia, located at the site of Tel Er Moga. I don't know.
I've been playing Civ, so it's been all about like screwing up my history knowledge.
3,800 BC.
There's only so many times the Mayans can nuke you before you start mixing up history. God. The Mayans and the Aztecs have ganged up on me my last like 4 or 5 games of Civ. I have no idea what I'm doing with ticking them off.
I don't know.
I was Polynesia. I was minding my own business.
As one does. Big cheese, 5 pounds.
I can send tapes of my stuff if you're interested. Tapes of what?
Yeah, that's distressingly vague.
Are you like a VO guy?
Or
are
also
you a male porn star? Or non-binary porn star?
To get back into Civ. There was free Civ. Civ 6 was free for like 2 weeks at the start of quarantine. So I picked it up then. This guy in quarantine in a chat was saying I need to get back into it.
All right, I think
this is a good swishing beer.
This is good. It's very strange. I don't know. I've been starting to turn into a beer snob because I've been drinking with beer snobs more often because my family and a couple of my closest friends who aren't like going out a ton. So we've just been hanging, and I find myself saying a bunch of stuff that I would have like yelled at someone for saying 3 years ago. That's ridiculous. Like I can taste the notes of pineapple. And it's like, oh God, one of them now.
Notes of hickory.
So heavy tanker 1945. What we were talking about the Bronco. We talked about that for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's in the beginning of the podcast. Thank you for
Bronco.
Yeah. As soon as
Thank
we
you
go
for
off
asking
the air,
about
you'll
that.
be able to start from the beginning.
yeah.
But I'm at peak saturation.
Yeah,
where,
2
like,
hours.
my pee can
I'm
go through a
calling
brick
this.
wall.
This is the end of the podcast. Thank you so much to Jeff Weismen for joining us. Thank you to everybody who stuck around and watched this. Thank you to all the super chat donations. You are funding the travel budget for when eventually we can travel again. It's probably just going to be in the state of. It's going to be within the state of Pennsylvania. I guess we'll go out to Pittsburgh at some point. Go see Justin Lose. I've been trying to go to Cincinnati, but Foster isn't answering his telegram. So, but he's got his own YouTube channel to deal with.
Come to Jersey and drive the Miata.
Jersey.
How about in New Jersey?
I gotta pay $1 to come back to PA.
$1.
$1.
I had to pay $5 to get here.
No, wow.
$3.20
man.
to Commodore Barry. It's $5 now. It's all under construction.
Damn. Well, thank you for making the trip from the wild lands of Jersey to the mid-state to East Central Pennsylvania.
Not like there's anything else going on.
True.
That is true. Eli Burchell right here at the end. Getting here right at the end. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much for $1.99.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you everyone for joining us. This has been a podcast. I'm Nick, but don't quote me on it.
Brian?
I'm Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah?
Hey.
Enjoy. I do a basketball podcast if any of you nerds out there want to get in on
Oh, yeah. Shout
Yeah,
out
plug
plug your podcast.
We just started it back up. I think the first episode is coming up tonight called Win by Two. You can just search it on any like Spotify, Anchor, any of that.
Very nice.
Me and a North Jersey person just talking about basketball in a similar way that we just talked about cars. So
Cool.
Very nice.
for the 3 people here who are interested in the sport of basketball, go ahead and check that out.
And also just to say that the new RCR stories will either be up by the end of on podcasting, either by the end of this week or the beginning of next. I just want it to do whatever it's going to do on YouTube first before I throw it up there. But this podcast will be up considerably sooner. So yeah, hope you've all enjoyed it and talk to you all next time, whenever that is.
Have
So
a good
have a good
afternoon.
one.
Bye.
See you guys.